So a brand new study just dropped, and the headlines are screaming, butter increases your risk of death, plant oils to the rescue. But hold on, does this actually mean that swapping your butter for soybean oil is going to save your life? Or is this study missing some major pieces of the puzzle? Let's dive in. So this 2025 study that was just released in JAMA Internal Medicine, what they did is they analyzed over 220,000 people from three major health cohorts. And what they found is that those who ate the most butter had a 15% higher risk of dying compared to those who ate the least. Meanwhile, those who consumed more plant oils, so this is especially things like olive oil, canola, and soybean oil, what they found is they actually had a 16% lower mortality risk. Sounds convincing, right? Not so fast. So there's some major issues with this study that I want to discuss. First, it's an observational study, which is basically guesswork at best. So with an observational study, or in this case, what they did is they asked people to track what they ate and then looked at that and correlated it with how long they lived. But they didn't control their diets like they do in a randomized trial. It's like trying to study coffee intake by counting empty cups in someone's trash. Did they drink more coffee, or did they just reuse the same cup all day? Secondly, people who use plant oils tend to be more health conscious. They exercise more, they eat more vegetables, and they're less likely to smoke. So, is it all the oil saving their lives, or is it their entire lifestyle? And here's something to think about. What if this same health conscious group had ignored the anti butter messaging in the past 30 years? What if instead of switching to plant oils, they had embraced high quality butter because they understood its benefits, like fat soluble vitamins and healthy fatty acids? Could they have actually had better health outcomes than those eating the highly processed seed oils? The other issue I see is that this study lumped all these plant oils together. So the study combined all the plant oils into one big category, meaning olive oil, which is mostly monounsaturated fat, gets thrown in with soybean and corn oil, which are especially high in omega 6s. That's like saying eating fruit is healthy without differentiating between an apple and a bowl of Skittles. And fourthly, the older studies tell a different story. This is where things get really interesting. So, controlled trials, and this is the gold standard of research, haven't always backed up the idea that replacing saturated fat with polyunsaturated seed oils lead to a longer life. Imagine if we ignored decades of seatbelt safety studies and just asked people, hey, do you wear seatbelts? How long did you live? That's kind of what we're doing with nutrition science right now. And there's yet another issue. This study focuses only on butter versus plant oils. But what about coconut oil or ghee or avocado oil? This is like comparing Coke versus water and ignoring every other drink on the menu. What if some of these other fats perform just as well or better? Look, the takeaway isn't butter is amazing and you should eat a stick every day. But also, we need better science before making any extreme dietary claims. Instead of obsessing over one food, focus on your overall diet. And remember, just because past generations were told to fear butter doesn't mean that they were right. The real question is, what if health conscious people had chosen butter over processed oils? Would we be seeing a different study today? Now, I want to hear from you. Does this study change anything about how you eat? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown helpful, go ahead and hit that like or subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.